Flashbacks can ruin your mind. Part 1. It had to be right after getting promoted to manager. I, the fifth one now. I was promoted due to the two others who did not want the job no more. I asked the reason why they stepped down. They each told me, talking to one another. The first person, Chase, she told me she was tired of the customers, tired of the lack of help when the store got flooded with problem after problem. Jean said she was tired of doing the job because she was dating the self-checkout gal, and she got tired of everyone giving her that look, knowing full well she was lesbian, and she did not hide it. I liked Chase and Jean. They were cool peeps. When I was offered their jobs, they turned on me soon after. I told my best friend about this, when at this time he was still living in Downey, California, where we had grown up at. You think they were going to be nice about it? They hate you now, because you were one of the enemies, because you're now in management. Julian, he's still around, but I know he's the reason right now. Why am I still safe? You still dream about her, don't you? Digging into the question. So what if I do? Does that make me a bad person? When asking back. No, it just makes you look at the past. We do not look at the past no more. Remember, grilling the question into me. Tonight was a quiet night. I made it up to the hills once. They were called the Hills of Dash Point, a place overlooking the beautiful city of Tacoma. Looking at the power left on my battery from the cycle, I knew I had enough power for a nightly stroll, going back to my favorite spot, the place I worked for, 34 months in, before the sickness took over, destroying everything that I had thought would have given me the much-deserved reset I had been waiting for 3 years before. My ex-wife, Selena. I'm glad she's still around, along with my two daughters, Brittany and Beatrice. Going on 47 months now, since last seeing them in person, I do remember the last day I was able to see them. Christmas of 2027. I showed up after texting a couple hours earlier if it would be okay if I was able to drop off presents for the girls. For my ex-wife, with a funny emoji following afterwards. It took her about 20 minutes later. She texted, "Okay, you can come over." I did not have much to buy them, but my new job finally gave me some money where I was able to provide for the last 3 years prior. I was broke every holiday. Looking at my battery, I looked at how I was able to drive for at least 2 more hours before I had to charge the cycle up. I thank God for allowing me to be homeless in this town at that crappy time when my life was going nowhere. I knew the streets. I knew the back roads. I knew everything, especially at night. When at night was the time you had to make sure you did all your stuff, because in the daytime, this was the time the world was crazy. Riding down the hill, I make the turn where I used to pass the Bikini Barista place. Funny, thinking how those places were everywhere, it seemed, in the city. I was not hating on them. My ex would always say they were making a living just like how we were, before slapping her knee, because she was the queen of the one-liners. Passing by it, I would always see a few ex-employees, walking in their lingerie, slow pacing, wearing high heels, their faces just looking pale as ever. I wondered, did they stay by their old workplace because the memory of what their last job was? Wondering if this was on their mind as they strolled around their old stand? Passing by the bingo/casino, remembering our third date here, I remember how nervous I was before asking my now ex-wife to the place. Alex, when bringing her here, she asked me if I had been to the casino before. Of course, I lied. I was a very bad gambler in those early days, or as I can say, those early years, being in my 20s. Leading up to our first date, I was now 32. I did not have time to dwell on this memory tonight, because tonight would have been the night of our 2-year dating anniversary. 2 years I met you. I knew after the first date, I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. Sucks when you think of this stuff. You remind yourself to let it go. Just freaking let it go. Pulling up to Freddy's Groceries, I look at how dark from the inside looked, nowadays. Hiding my cycle, I walk in the front door, staring to my left. I would be meeting either Greg, if it was daytime, or Jean, if it was nighttime, greeting me at the self-checkout desk. When Greg died, he went quickly. His immune system couldn't handle the second shot we were all told to get. Word has it, you've been going back to the bakery a lot, pulling cakes and whatnots. Jean being front forward with it all. What are you implying, Jean? Trying to understand what she was asking. Everyone knows you get lost to the bakery just so you could talk to Alex, referring to one of the new bakery people, a gal the store hired a few months ago. It wasn't like this at first. I pulled into the driveway one day, a Ford